Hi kindergarten friends, welcome to Read Aloud time. Today we will be reading about a very interesting animal. We're going to read the book titled Tadpole to Frog. And before I start reading this book, I want you to keep in mind this question. What does a frog need to survive? Or what things does it need to stay alive? So, I'm going to start reading this book, but while I read it, keep that question in mind. Something is floating on the edge of the pond. It looks like jello with spots. Look, it looks like jello with little black spots inside. It is thousands of tiny frogs' eggs called frog spawn. That's what these eggs are called. The tadpoles, look, these are tadpoles, eat water plants. A big fish in the pond watches the little tadpoles. Big fish eat little tadpoles. So big fish like this one eats the tiny tadpoles. So the tadpoles have to be very careful where they are. Young tadpoles stay underwater all the time. They breathe through gills on the side of their heads. But tadpoles keep changing. At 4 weeks old, they start breathing through new gills inside their bodies. See, it's changing form or shape. When they are 8 weeks old, the tadpoles grow 2 back legs. Now the tadpoles swim to the surface to take gulps of air. A few weeks later, the tadpoles grow front legs too. Then the tadpole's tails slowly disappear. The tadpoles have become little frogs called froglets. They have long back legs for hopping and webbed feet for swimming. Froglets, which are the little frogs, swim in the pond and sit on stones, floating leaves and lily pads. They hop around on land and hide in long grass. Raccoons, skunks, snakes, turtles, and birds all feed on frogs. That means that those animals eat frogs. But little speckled frogs are hard to see in the grass. So one of the things that frogs need to be able to survive is camouflage. They need to be able to camouflage in their environment so that other animals can't see them and then eat them. All summer, the little frogs eat and grow and grow. There is plenty of food around. In the fall, the leaves start to drop from the trees and it begins to get colder. There is not as much food for the young frogs now. The frogs find a hiding place in piles of leaves or under logs. Logs are like fallen trees. They sleep through the cold winter. So just like bears, they sleep all winter long. So they have a really long nap. Spring comes and the frogs wake up. The male croaks to attract the female. Now there is a new clump of frog spawn on the edge of the pond. So now, in what part of a pond do you find frog spawn? Remember, frog spawn are the little eggs that look like jello with the little black dot. You find them on the edge of the pond. And tiny tadpoles eat water plants. They need water plants, the little tadpoles. Then when the tadpoles are bigger, They need to swim to the surface to take gulps of air or to have oxygen because they now breathe air too. And then it starts growing. It grows 2 back legs and the tail starts to disappear, or it starts to get really, 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 really short. And then it grows 2 front legs and it starts hopping around everywhere. So, what are some things that the frogs need to survive? They need a pond for the eggs to be in. Then the tadpoles need water plants to eat. Then they need oxygen, right? They need oxygen to be able to breathe. They need camouflage. So when they're bigger frogs and they're out into the land and out in the grass, other animals that like to eat frogs don't see them because they're camouflaged in their environment. So those are a few of the things that frogs need to be able to stay alive. Remember, every animal has different characteristics or different things that it needs to be able to survive. But these are the ones that frogs need. I hope you really enjoyed listening about frogs. I enjoyed so much reading this book to you and looking at the different things that it needs to survive. So I hope you learned a lot and that you were paying real good attention. Remember, different animals need different things.